Hi, my name is Gloriane Giovanelli, and I want to talk to you today about eating disorders. There's so many people in the world today affected by eating disorders, and you may be one of those people. And it's sort of like a silent thing. It's something that goes on behind closed doors. It's something that we both feel ashamed about and powerless at the same time. So I want you to know that I'm giving this brief talk here from experience. And what I mean by that is for a long time, I struggled with bulimia. I used to make myself throw up. And it started, the actual act of that probably started in high school. But the thoughts that created the bulimia, the emotions that led me to that compulsive behavior, they started from when I was very little. So I don't really know how it started. I know that I grew up in a family with sisters, and they were all older than me. And I heard them all the time talking about, oh, I'm fat. I don't look good. My hair's not nice. And all the time, I heard these beautiful women telling themselves how ugly and fat and unattractive they were. And somehow my mind took that on board because I was watching it all the time. I was hearing it all the time. I wasn't ever looking inside of me to see the beauty that was inside. I was always directing my gaze outward, and I was listening and taking in what they were saying. And what I thought that meant was two things. First of all, I thought that that automatically meant that I was fat, that I was ugly, that I was unattractive. And I also thought that that was normal to speak to yourself that way. I thought that I observed women bonding with each other by insulting themselves. And now I understand how really damaging, quite terrible that is, that we would use hurtful things to bond with each other in a negative way. And now I realize that it was really the thoughts that were going on in my mind ultimately changed how I felt about myself. And then it created a very dysfunctional behavior. So all of my life, I grew up thinking I was fat. There were times that I was, but to be quite honest, that happened later after I had all this time of horrible thoughts and the wrong type of conversations with myself, the wrong type of energy that I was projecting onto my beautiful life force. And then there were times when I wasn't fat, but it didn't matter because no matter what weight I was at, it was never good enough. It was never skinny enough. And ultimately, I started making myself throw up. I damaged the enamel on my teeth. I used to have constant sore throats. My throat was just ripped. And I gave myself a hiatal hernia. And thank God, with a very, very helpful chiropractor, that resolved itself. So you see, this doctor of chiropractic worked on the nerves in my body. And when that nerve flow was restored properly to the muscle, well, then that hiatal hernia went away. So I was very blessed. I was very blessed to have that experience because it was the first experience of getting an understanding that there's an intelligence within me that wants to heal me. And then, after all these things were happening, I just got to the point where I realized that if I were to continue to go in that direction, that I was really going to keep damaging my body. And there was probably a bit of vanity in it too. I mean, I didn't want my teeth to fully erode, even though I did a lot of damage to them. And I was in pain. The hiatal hernia was really painful. It felt like somebody punching me in the gut all the time. So at a certain point, I decided enough was enough. And I did stop throwing up. And at first, to be honest, I actually put on more weight. And that was okay. It was okay because I made a decision in my mind that I meant more than the number on the scale, that my value as a human being had nothing to do with the numbers on the scale. Now, I didn't tell anybody about this for years and years and years because I was so ashamed that I ever had this behavior. I was buying food and eating it in private and spending stupid amounts of money on terrible food and like I said, eating it in private and then, externally, really my body just blowing up, and it was taking in the messages of this terrible food that was damaging me on top of making myself throw up. I had been taking in these wrong messages from my environment and placing them on top of myself. So your journey may have looked different. Your eating disorder may look different. It doesn't matter though. All of these can be traced back to a wrong use of your own power, a wrong use of this beautiful life force within you, and turning it around instead of projecting it into the world to unleash the spirit, to express yourself in this world. Unknowingly, unwittingly, unintentionally, we direct it back in through negative thoughts that are attacking us all the time. So what we have to do is first, we have to acknowledge that we've done damage to ourselves, that we've been using our energy and our mind and our emotions instead of to help ourselves, to attack ourselves. There's also a step where we have to say, I'm worth more than this. Life is not about a number on a scale. Let me tell you, if I had a good day or a bad day, it was fully determined by my weight, how many changes of clothes I would go through. Or, if I could wear something that covered myself up well and I still looked good, it was a good day. But then if I was, with somebody who was in great shape and they were, in more revealing clothes, immediately my whole experience of the day would plummet. And I'd go about devising plans to starve myself. And of course, they never worked. So first, I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to understand or acknowledge or in some way be open to the idea that life put you on this planet. Whether you describe it as life, God, energy, source, spirit, some very intelligent organizational energy put you on Earth. Now, if you question its intelligence, let me ask you, can you build a tree? Build a tree from nothing, out of nothing, a tree that will grow as tall as it's meant to grow, will reproduce itself. Can you do that? Is there anyone on Earth that you know that can create gravity, that can keep planets rotating in the perfect rotations? Is there anyone you know that can take two half cells, first of all, create those cells, and then combine them and create a baby? No, everything we do is modeled off of nature, is modeled off of this intelligence, but it's never as good as the source. So that intelligence that created that, it also created you. It's not an accident you're here. You are here because life needs you. Life wants you here. And the first step in being here is to acknowledge that you have that intelligence within you. You are no better, you are no worse than any other being on this planet, but you are life. And that entitles you to know the power and the genius of who you are. So just acknowledge that intelligence, that life that's already within you. And in some way, in your own words, open your heart to that life and intelligence that brought you here, that wants you here, that loves you. Say, okay, maybe I'll start taking time to get to know this, to get to know who I am. Because I promise you, when you really know who you are, there's no way you would treat yourself that way. When you know how beautiful, how amazing, how intelligent, how loving you are, you would never treat any other being in that way. Most importantly, yourself. And so I encourage you to keep going inside, knowing that there's that intelligence within you. There's that birthright of yours to be well, to know the power of who you are. That is your birthright. And as you get to know that, come to the point of making a decision that you are worth more. You are worth more than damaging your body. You are worth more than those stinky thoughts that tell you anything other than that, because that's what they are. They are thoughts and they are not you. Anything that tells you you should manage and measure your worth, manage and measure the joy you get from your day, manage and measure the worth of each and every experience by the number on the scale, by the size of your thighs, that's a lie. It's not you. It's a thought. And you see, your emotions are going to follow on from those thoughts. And those thoughts are stinky and tricky, and they will try to deceive you, but you are smarter than them. So as you get to know this power and intelligence and love that you are, you become much faster, smarter, and wiser at catching those thoughts, at stopping them dead in their tracks, saying, I don't listen to you anymore. I listen to that energy within. I don't obey you anymore. I obey the energy within. You're a liar, and the life inside me is truth. And you just keep doing that more and more. And then you make decisions that support you. And the more decisions that you make that support you, the easier it gets to make decisions that support you. The harder it gets to listen to those horrible thoughts, those wrong, lying, stinky thoughts that are not you. It gets harder to listen to them. The more you support yourself, the more you turn inward, the more you honor the life within you. So I am here to tell you that you can recover from eating disorders. I'm here to tell you that you must stop listening to your thoughts, and that your emotions and your bad feelings about yourself and your appearance will follow on from those thoughts that are liars, and they are not you. They're liars. Okay? The truth is inside of you. Go inside of you. Keep doing it until it becomes natural. Okay? So you stop listening to those thoughts. You stop reacting to the emotions that those thoughts create. And you keep going within, and you make decisions that support yourself, and you reach out to people who can help you. You reach out to people who have been there and have recovered. Don't reach out to people who are still struggling. Only if you're there to help them. But reach out to people who have overcome this, who know there is a way out, who know that no matter what the number on the scale is, you can feel beautiful, you can feel good in your own skin. And funny enough, as you do this over time, the scales become more reflective of how good you feel about yourself, instead of reflecting how badly you feel about yourself. So I feel your heart. I know how difficult it is to go through this and to feel like your entire world is consumed by this. But I promise you, there is a new world, a different world, and that world actually is inside of you. And when you tune into that, and when you stay with it and you reach out and you do whatever it takes to say, enough is enough, I am worth more, and you start to make changes, change will happen. Change will happen. We are here for you. You can do this. You can get through this. And you're very welcome to reach out to me if you feel that would help you. So thank you so much. I really, really, really do feel for anyone going through this, or anyone who's supporting someone who is going through this. But no, you can get through it, but you've got to start within. And the power that's within is limitless. Thank you.